Okay, welcome everyone to this, the 8th Housing Repairs online show and share at Newark and District Council. Before I share with you what we're going to cover today, just a quick reminder why we do these show and shares. It's an opportunity for us, the core team, to celebrate what we've achieved, demo any working software, and provide information on progress made. But most importantly, it's an opportunity for you, our collaborators and supporters, to give us feedback and ask any questions you may have. And you'll have that opportunity to do so at the end of the show and share. So what we're going to cover today? Well, in a moment, I'll remind everyone who is in the core team, share our vision, then we'll hear from Bhavesh Patel, our lead engineer, on how and why we're building a data-driven UI. We'll then hear from Mark Warner, our senior engineer, who will take you on that end-to-end journey of displaying address information within the service. We'll then hear from Wendy Banks from City of Lincoln Council, who will give an update on how the MVP tenant repair service is progressing. I'll then give a quick update on progress made in the current sprint and our focus for the next. I'll then hand back to Kristen McIntosh, our product owner, who will tell you how you can engage with the project, and then we have time for any questions you may have. So who is in the core team? Well, we have Kristen McIntosh, our product owner from Newark Sherwood, myself, Paul Klimpson, lead delivery manager from Maytech, Bhavesh Patel, who is the lead engineer from Maytech, Dave Richardson, who is the ICT and digital service business manager from Newark and Sherwood, Sonia Lois, our digital systems analyst from Newark and Sherwood, Rennie Fadaju, who is our engineer from Maytech, Steve Turner, who is solutions developer from Newark and Sherwood, Mesa Canoni, engineer Maytech, Andrew Dobby, our digital systems analyst from Newark and Sherwood, Agnieszka Sibakowska, from senior engineer from Maytech, Mark Warner, our senior engineer from Maytech, and Catherine Dees, our engineer from Maytech. Next slide, please. So what is our vision? Well, it's to design and build a reusable and accessible online repair reporting tool that requires no login, and most importantly, residents prefer to use as it meets their needs. A tool that is integrated with various scheduling systems through open, scalable, and accessible APIs, enabling the tool we hope to be adopted by local authorities across the UK. I'll now hand over to Bhavesh.
Hi, thanks, Paul. I'm going to be talking about data-driven UI and why we needed this and how we went about it. We designed a proof of concept to ensure that we could validate our approach prior to commencing it. Now, a proof of concept is exactly that. It just gets the job done, make sure that we don't miss anything. It doesn't follow best practices, and its intent is to design to consume the outcome over the output, and the output of the code and so on and so forth shouldn't be reused. We achieved configurable triage journey steps of where the problem is, what the problem is, and what best describes the problem. And at each step, we can have multiple exit points. So some options, triage options, only have 2 stages. So where is the problem? What is the problem? And others have 3. Now, this allows each local authority to customize the options offered in the front end to the residents, and maintains the configurability of the back-end source codes which map to the options chosen by the resident. This work will also benefit not just tenant journeys, which we're going to implement now, but also leaseholder and communal work that's upcoming. And we thought towards early exit points, so certain journeys can have emergency exit points or unable to book via the online service. Each of those has been considered in this proof of concept too. We considered some optimizations in how the options won't change once the user journey has started the journey. And with that in mind, we make a single call to retrieve all the triage information, as opposed to making round trips each time the user has made a selection in where the problem is. If they select kitchen, we're not going to make a second call to retrieve the next options. Everything is retrieved at the start of the user's journey. Now, that's a single call, so there's some level of optimization there, less network requests, means less points of failure and possibly a lower carbon footprint also. And with that, I'll hand over to Mark Warner.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Mark Warner. I'm a senior software engineer at Megtech, and I'm going to talk you through this through how we display address information on the housing repair service. So firstly, as a brief reminder, we needed to find a solution that would give us addresses separated into communal, tenant, and leasehold addresses. When we found that the Capita Web services weren't able to filter in this way. So this the diagram to the right shows the solution that we came up with. So we've implemented a few steps to make the addresses returned from the Insight reporting service available for searching from the Housing Repairs Online service. In a nutshell, we upload files containing communal, tenant, and leasehold addresses into cloud storage, and then we run some code to copy them into a fast and easily queryable cloud database. When the address is searched for from the front end, the Housing Repairs Online service queries this database for results. So a little bit more detail on the steps, the three main steps here. Firstly, we upload address information obtained from the Insight report into an Azure storage container. And then secondly, we read the address data from the storage container and insert it into what's called a Cosmos database in Azure. There's three cloud functions, one for each address type. And the upload to the addresses to the database is triggered when the address information is updated. We store address data in the database and it's stored conveniently in the HACT compliant structures that comply with the Housing Association Charitable Trust data standards. And finally, the Housing Management API, as you can see there at the bottom, retrieves matching address data from the database and then returns it to the front end in response to address searches. I'm now going to attempt to share my screen and show a brief demo here. So just let me quickly set this up. Yeah, right. So before we play the demo, I just need to mention that this demonstration environment is hooked up to the communal addresses database. We're going to be following the tenant journey. That's because this code is under review and it will be linked to the correct tenant addresses database in the live system. So the system I'm going to show is uses the MVP tenant repair service, which is currently live at Lincoln. This short video, I'll start it now. It shows a tenant user starting their journey, and then eventually arriving at the address search page. The user then enters their postcode and clicks continue. When they click continue, it goes off to the infrastructure that I mentioned previously, and you can see that 4 addresses have been returned. The postcode search functionality is not case sensitive and allows for spaces in any part of the postcode. Here we're going to demonstrate changing the case of one of the characters and removing the space, and we can see that the when continue is clicked, the same 4 addresses are returned. So as you can see now, the once the user has selected an address, they continue on their journey. And that's the end of this demonstration. Thank you. I shall now unshare my screen.
Thank you, Kristen. We'll just hand over then to Wendy Banks from City of Lincoln Council.
Hi. I'm going to run through the headline facts and figures for the take-up of the MVP tenant repair service for Lincoln Council. So we went live with the MVP in May 22. Since then, we've seen a steady increase in the use of the online service, with August being the highest to date. Since May, the use of this service has increased by 29%. It's also great to see that the service is being used when our offices are closed, with the percentage of bookings out of hours for May, June and July averaging around 30%, increasing to 38% in August. The most popular times for bookings out of hours is 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. But we've seen bookings for absolutely every hour of the day so far. The most popular room reported for repairs so far has been the bathroom. So to quickly explain the wrap-up codes, at the end of each call, the customer service agents record which service that call was about. These we call wrap-up codes. So by comparing our wrap-up codes for housing repairs from 2021 to 2022, we can see that the number of calls recorded has reduced for housing repairs, that is. Encouragingly, in August, they reduced by 26%. Looking closely at the figures, there was an abnormally high reduction in July, which we understand was due to the exceptionally high phone calls for other services, which just caused a reduction in housing repair calls getting through and logged. But overall, we're seeing really positive trends for this service and expect it to continue as we make residents more aware. Also, council teams who visit residents now use this service to report repairs online and as well as promoting it to their residents. Now I'm back to Paul, I think.
Yep, thank you, Wendy. So just a quick recap on progress made in the current sprint. We enhanced the security of the service by obscuring secrets using key vaults. We're ensured now that the service itself is AA standard accessibility compliant. You've just heard from Bhavesh about the proof of concept that we completed for data-driven UI, and also we're starting to implement that in the service itself. We performed a tech spike to determine the approach for ingesting addressed information, as shared with you by Mark. And again, we've commenced the implementation of the infrastructure to display that address information in the front end. So what is our focus for the next sprint? Well, it's to implement that data-driven UI, set up GovNotify for both live and production, implement the infrastructure to display that address information in the front end, flow user-entered information like problem description to DRS for both tenant and leasehold repairs. We'll make local authority content configurable, that content being customer service, office hours and telephone numbers. And finally, we'll look to upgrade our APIs from .NET 5 to 6, and this will improve performance and enhance security. I'll now hand over to Kristen.
So it's over to me to talk about engagement. So we do have our blog online. All videos from the show and shares, if you missed any part of them, are shared online, so you can catch up on previous ones, or if you've missed the start, you can catch up on obviously online. We are also still have our actual prototype available. So if you haven't yet requested details of that, so username and password, please do reach out either through Teams, through drop me an email through the website, reach out on LinkedIn, however you want to reach me or any other member of the team. We're more than happy to share those with you. We'd love to hear your feedback, because again, we are also starting to think ahead. We're over halfway through now, and our thoughts are sort of starting to turn not just towards our product as it will be at the end of this phase, but also starting to think about, well, what's next? What else do we need to actually make this an even more attractive service for a wider range of local authorities? So we'd love to hear extra input as to what you think's missing, what you'd like to improve. So please do reach out, try the prototype out, and get back in touch with us. Even if you're not interested overall or haven't got time to actually implement the project yourselves, we'd still love to hear your feedback as to what you'd like to see there, because we'd like to get as big a range and develop it to suit as big a range of authorities as possible. I think that's now back to Paul, ready for questions.
Yeah, so if you've got any feedback you want to share with us on what you've seen today, or any questions you might want to ask, this is your opportunity now. So you can either just do that by unmuting yourself, or you can drop your question or feedback into the chat. Any feedback or questions? Okay, if there's no feedback and questions, then we'll end the show and share there. And thank you all for attending, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.